All right, so hello. Today we're going to be looking at building a home in the Pacific Northwest, Greater Seattle area, building a home versus just buying one that already exists. Today we're looking at the build process and costs and everything like that. So, just so you know, when you're looking at building a home, you have to pay this for the land itself. Okay, and then once you have the land, then you have things like soft costs. Soft costs are like architectural fees, civil engineers, geotech, survey, and then you have things like utilities, site work, foundation, excavation. And so let's just say you want to buy a piece of land and it's going to cost, $300,000 to $500,000, depending on what you buy, right? This is just the cost of dirt right now. Plus, right, it goes up from there, but it goes up from there. But like, let's say $300,000 to $500,000 is your price for land. Today, I have selected a place in Kenmore that's $400,000 as an example. So it is a 34,000 square foot lot. As you can see in the picture right here, I'll go ahead and pull this up. This is what it kind of looks like. So this is your access road right there. And then you have all this. Now you could develop this, or you could just put a home right here. You put two homes, whatever, it's up to you, right? You could put multiple homes. You could probably do one, two, maybe three homes, maybe four. I'm not sure, but we're not looking at development play today. We're just saying, hey, I want to build a custom home and I want I want privacy. I want a larger piece of dirt. So this is $400,000 for that piece of dirt right now, and it's 0.786 acres. And yes, there's some tree coverage, but it's relatively flat. I'm not going to do a full feasibility analysis today. That would be a different video. Let's just assume, and you can't always assume this, but let's just assume for research purposes that there's no critical areas, there's no wetlands, there's no streams, there's no steep slopes, and all we got is some trees, so we're going to have to cut down and remove. So assuming all of that, and also we're going to need to do the assumption that all the utilities, so water, sewer, power, are all right here in this street on 83rd Ave. If they're not, then there's going to be extra costs, okay? So let's just assume that everything's right here in the street because this house is connected, this house. Let's just assume all these homes are connected to water, sewer, and garbage. Excuse me, water, sewer, and power. Okay, now let's talk about the soft costs. So these are pre-construction, pre-permit costs. For a house on a site like this, you're probably looking at about a $4,000 to $6,000 survey. Maybe less, but probably $4,000 to $6,000, somewhere in there. For architect design fees, for a custom home, let's go with 2,600 square feet. For a 2,600 square foot home that's custom, you're probably on the higher end of the architect design fees. So that's probably going to be $30,000 plus. So now you're at, $36,000. Let's talk about structural engineer. You're probably going to be at least $10,000 to $12,000. Okay, so now you're at 48. Civil engineer, $8,000, $10,000. 58. Geotech report, $7,000. Okay, energy code, $2,500. So whatever that is. So you're looking at over $66,000. Okay, probably closer to 70, 75, just in soft costs for building this home. Then once you can figure out you can build it, you're looking at about $20,000 to $25,000, maybe more, in permits and fees from the city. So you got SDCI building permit or Kenmore building permit plan review, in what's called MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. You have impact fees, right-of-way permit, sprinkler system permit, etc. So it's probably closer to $25,000. So now you're basically at $100,000 just in soft costs and permits. Okay. Then before you can start construction of the home, you have site work, earthwork, utilities. Again, assuming this is a flat lot, assuming there's no streams or wetlands or critical areas or steep slopes or anything like that, and it's just the trees, you're looking at about, you know, $80,000 to $100,000. Okay, maybe less, but let's say $80,000. So now we're at $180,000 before we even started construction of the home. Plus, that's $180,000, and that's in addition to the $400,000 land. So now we're at $580,000. Okay, so $580,000. Now, let's say you could find somebody to do the vertical construction for you for about $250 or $260 a square. So let's do $260 times, let's say, again, 2,600 square foot home. That's $676,000. So let's add the 180 to the 676, and gives you a total price before the land of $856. Now, if you were to buy this land, it's $400,000. That gives you a total all-in cost of $1.256 million. For those of you who think building is cheaper, think again. It's not. The only reason that makes sense right now to actually build versus buy is if you're very particular, if you have the funds, number one, and number two, if you want something that is custom. That's the design is custom, the floor plan is custom, the layout is custom, the floor plan, all interior finishes are custom, in which case your costs are going to be more than that. You're probably going to be closer to 1.4 or 1.5 million dollars, because your architect design fees are going to be more. Your engineering, structural engineer fees are going to be more. Your building costs are going to be a lot more. So $1.4, $1.5 million for a truly one-of-a-kind, nicer finishes, quality custom home. Okay, for everything, site work, everything, land, $1.4 to $1.5 million. Now, versus what can I buy in the same area I can't seem to do this. Okay, let's see. What can I buy in the same area? Single family home. Paste. Kenmore active. That is, let's say, 4 bedrooms, at least 2.5 bathrooms, and let's do 2,400 to 2,800 square feet. So, and we'll also do lot size of, let's do 20,000 square feet plus. Oops. Okay, so 0 matches. Let's do this. 0. Let's do 1. Let's look at sold or pending as well. Let's remove the lot size. Let's do 14,000. Oops. Plus. Nothing. 2 miles. Really? No matches. Wow. Okay, 5 matches. Okay, so Kenmore. Let's look at these. So, well, actually, let's go back here. Let's look at distance. So the closest one's 1.1 miles away in Kenmore. It's sold $1.3 million. Boom. Okay, so this one, it's 2,400 square feet, so a little bit smaller, built in 1996. It is 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, but it has a 3-car garage. Lot size is also very large. Okay, this one's active at 1.159, and this is sold for 1.3, by the way. So look at this one, 1.485. What did I tell you? 2,600 square foot home. Boom, already built, 3-car garage, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, 3-car garage. But it's not brand new. But look what type of home you can get. Look at that, it has a pickleball court in the backyard, basketball court, that would be extra. Lighting, look at the landscaping here. Look at the back deck. Look at that covered area. Look at the finishes. Look at the tall vaulted ceilings. Look at that. Grand entryway, hardwood floors. Look at the upgraded. This is a more expensive kitchen than you would build probably, a 1.2, 1.3. So again, and look at the crown molding and the ceiling, the custom lighting, the custom windows. This is an expensive house to build, ladies and gentlemen. You could replace the countertops here, but look at the rest of the bathroom. It's pretty clean. This is a very clean house. Vaulted ceilings here, custom architecture. Okay, big closet. Look at this bathroom updated. So updated shower, updated vanity, sinks, more vaulted ceiling, laundry room. Look at the architectural design, the ceilings. Okay, look at the landscaping, the backyard. Again, so this sold for 1.485. To build this would probably cost you pretty close to the same. So, but it's also going to take at least 6 months for permits, and it's going to take probably 9 to 12 months to build. Let's say 9 to 10 months. 9 to 10 months to build. Well, during that time, you have to take out a construction loan. And if your build cost is, $800,000 or $900,000, you have to have the holding costs for 9 to 10 months of the construction loan. So that's probably another, and your construction loans are about 8-9% for a consumer. So that's just one extra cost at 10% or 9%, right? Financing, 1.5 points, and for 9-10 months for the construction loan, you're probably going to have to put 20% down or 15% down for the construction loan as well. So again, if the build cost is, let's say it's 275 times 2,600 square feet, 715, you have to put 20% down. That's $143,000 in addition to the land that you just bought for $350,000 or $400,000. So it requires a lot of money. Then you got to make payments on this loan every single month for 9 to 10 months. And if there's any delays, it's 11 months. Okay, and if you do it extensions, which is like 1% of the loan, so it'd be like $7,000 for an extension of the loan. So, point is, if you don't need a fully custom home, and you don't desire something that's brand new that you designed, and is you want to choose all the designs, the floor plans, and every single component of the materials, then I would say it's probably a better idea to try to find a home that's listed or one that's maybe a new construction. But as you can see, new construction is going to be super tiny lots because they're trying to maximize density. But if you buy something that's not necessarily newly listed, you can get into a great home for $1.1 million, $1.3 million in this area on a large lot, so you have privacy, you have the big lot, and you get a really nice updated home. And then you could even take some time to upgrade it yourself to your paint choices and flooring as you want, right? That would be much, much cheaper than trying to build something in terms of overall cost, okay? So there you go. Here's the reality. Building is not necessarily cheaper than buying. It depends on what your priorities are. It depends on what your budget is. It depends on how much money you have. If you have a lot of money, like $600,000 to $1 million just sitting around in your bank accounts that you can deploy on something like this, then maybe building a home and you want something custom is a better plan for you. But if you're trying to put 5% down or 10% down on a home, again, this would be $130,000. Well, $130,000 can get you into a home at 10% down. If you want to build it, it's going to cost you $600,000 plus. Probably more than that. Probably $700 more or $750 in cash. Okay? That you need to have liquid. So, would you rather have a home that's $1.4 million, $1.3 million for $130,000 or $140,000? Or would you rather have a custom one for $700,000 or $750,000? Right? Again, how badly do you want a custom floor plan, custom designs, custom finishes? And do you have the money to fund it? All right. Hope that helps everything break down. What was your favorite part of this video? What do you think building or buying is better? And hopefully you'll really understand that the cost of building a home is not necessarily cheaper today. And again, it's very specific individuals who have the funds, who can wait, 16, 18 months for the home to be built as well. And they have this bunch of discretionary income, a bunch of savings to be able to fund everything as well for the land purchase and the construction loan and everything else. So make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Good boy.